Okay, here's a quick screencast to show you how to work in Google Forms and to do your tech task for the week. So you'll see here that I have linked to this article about 25 ways to use Google Forms in the classroom. So if you click that link, it will do a download to a PDF. So I'm just going to open up that PDF. And you'll see the list of the 25 different possible uses. I'm sure there are a lot more, but here's just a start. So let's say you wanted to do the permission slip one. So I'll click on that, and you can click View Live Form, so you get an idea of what this form kind of looks like when it's done. And so now I say, okay, I want that. Now I'm going to go back to the permission slips and choose copy form template. So this basically means you can make a copy of that and then modify it for your own situation. So I click that. And it's going to show up, and you'll notice in the upper right corner here it says use template. Do I want to use it? I'll say yes. Excuse me. And once this opens, now I'm basically in the edit mode. So I'll just scroll up to the top. And in this case, I just double click there. And so it's not a biology class. I'll just say something like, our class will be going to the zoo. And of course, you can modify whatever you want. You're going to put in your name. Yeah, you get the idea. And there's going to be a lot of other things you're going to need to update, such as the date and all that stuff. But it's certainly a lot easier than making it from scratch if you can follow a form like this. So basically, you go in there, and for this assignment, you can just make up a field trip, but there's some other templates like a parent-teacher conference, whatever. So make some edits so I can tell that you know how to use a template. And then when you're done, this is, well, one thing to be aware of, we're using a template, but you can always, if you wanted to add another question, up here, the upper right corner, there's a button that says Add Question. And you can add all kinds of questions, multiple choice, checkbox, drop down, short answer, so on. There are lots of videos out there on how to use Google Forms, but just to be aware, that's a really important feature. And then you can add descriptions and titles and so on. But let's assume that, actually I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it, I'll just delete it. Let's assume that we're done. And how are you going to share it? Well, you go here and you, actually what I would do, important step, is give it a new name. I'll just call this August field trips permission form. And then the send part is really what you would do in school when you want to share it with teachers. You could do email. This is the link. This is also embed code. But fortunately, on Google Sites, which is the next part of your assignment, to embed it in a Google site, you don't even need to use the embed code. And I'll show you how that works. And also just be aware, you may already know this, but with Google documents in general, you don't really need to ever click a save button because it's constantly being saved in the cloud. So let's say I'm done, and now let's see how we can embed that form into Google Sites. So I'll go over to my Google site, and one of the things I wanted you to do also is to put it on a new page. So we haven't talked about, this is sort of the skeleton of my site, but say you want a sub page under resources, for example. So by default, if you go to your site, you go in pages, you'll see this. If I click resources, and these three dots, is a lot of power in a lot of Google tools. The three dots, you always should explore what's there. And one of the options is to add a subpage. So let's say I'm going to call this new subpage field trip. And I click done. And bingo, now if I go into resources up here, you'll see, it might help if I spelled it right. Well, I could show you a good example of how to edit. There you go. So now I've got this page and I want to put the form on it. And remember, for certain things on Google Sites, you can double click and add things that way. But for something like a form, or we did a YouTube video earlier, you can go up here to the upper right to Insert. And I'm going to scroll down, and one of the options, sure enough, well, it's sort of behind my, I'm going to move my screen around a little bit. See, it's Forms. I'll click that. It's behind my head. And I'll click, this is the August that we chose, and then we say Insert. That's the challenge with having the webcam there. Insert. And here it is. Now you can take the little corners of your form and resize it, but there it is. And then, of course, you always want to finish by publishing. So the advantage of, you don't have to put a Google form into a website, but you can just share the link to it. But if you want parents to get in the habit of going to your website and for all different school-related things, that's one reason to say, hey, just go to my website, go under resources, and you'll find the field trip form or whatever. Or you could have a link to this page. So that's all you got to do. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, there's 25 different ways, so this is just one example. The field trip permission form, there's lots of other ones. So pick one that you think you might actually use, and hopefully this will be useful to you this year in your teaching. All right, thanks. Bye.